What's up? What's the Weatherman here? And it might be a better man near because there's two members of Team 6K in the building. And Undead will be here a little bit later on. For right now, you're stuck with your boy Weatherman, and I'm about to go over this ban list. About to give you guys a raw reaction. I have done my best to stay away from our Discord and stay away from our group chat. I have not seen anything related to the ban list, so we are just gonna jump on up in there. And let's start by, let's look at them cards first. I'm personally, I want to see the cards first. That's kind of how I am. But let's get on in there. Let's see what's going on. Alrighty, starting off. I wish we couldn't see the next one. Starting off, I mean, come on. Who didn't think Mermaid was getting banned? We all knew Mermaid was getting banned. This was the easiest prediction that anybody could have made. Makes sense to me. You know, you want to stop a lot of those decks from using Orcust. It was getting a little too crazy out here. You get 2 cards on the field plus a discard, and all of a sudden you're playing Orcust. It was definitely a bit much. I personally am happy it's gone. I think that is a great decision. I am wondering what else they're doing to Orcust, because I do feel like there's certain other combinations, like Orcust Odd Eyes, for example, that really don't need Mermaid. As long as they can kind of play 3 Orcust, they're probably fine. So let's see what goes on later on. But starting off, I'm liking the Nightmare Mermaid ban. It obviously just needed to happen. Volpharenicus to 1. Interesting. I'm assuming this really just affects Odd Eyes. I don't think Odd Eyes plays any limited to 1 cards. Maybe the ban list is about to add some limited to 1 cards to Odd Eyes, maybe, but at the moment, I don't think this is too big of a deal. We didn't play multiple anyway. We just played the 1 Volpharenicus. So, I mean, as long as this is limited to 1 by itself, I don't think it's a big deal. I'm probably gonna see something that's gonna change my mind on this ban list, is what I'm thinking. Let's see what's next. Gaga Revenge. Is that 1? Huh. Okay. I guess this is for Onomats. This is the Monster Reborn, pretty much, right? Yeah, that they were using with the skill. I mean, I get it. I mean, I don't really think Onomats needed a big nerf in my eyes, but I mean, I understand it, I guess. I'm not mad at it. Onomats were kind of going a little bit under my radar, but they were like doing really good. They were tier 3. You know, they're able to put up a really solid board. That's why I'm like, I'm not mad at it. I can understand. But yeah, Onomats are really nice. I'm sure this isn't even going to affect them that deeply. Onomats should be still cracked. And speaking on this, go ahead and drop Onomatopoeia in a real box, Konami. You hear me? Come on, drop it in a standard box. I'm not going through that selection, my man. Let's see what's next. Farfa to 1. Okay, that is interesting. Okay, so this card has been moved to limited 1 so that players can use it alongside Lady of the Eternal. So that's interesting. Okay, now that's kind of cool. Is this a buff to Burning Abyss? I may need to go check that out. This might be an actual buff to Burning Abyss. I think this may be a buff. Orchestrated Release to 1. Okay. This card will be limited to reduce Orcust deck's ability of taking control of the field. I mean, I don't think people played mini release anyway, but I mean, Babel is at 1. A lot of people weren't playing Babel anyway, but I mean, Babel should be a lot more popular now that Mermaid is banned. I guess if you're trying to play it in another deck and you have your limited to 1 card, you can't really play Release, so maybe that's another thing that can kind of stop other decks from playing Orcust. I mean, hey, maybe this in itself could even kind of stop Odd Eyes, because we do have Volpharenicus to 1. We're obviously not going to pick Orchestrated Release over Volpharenicus, so, you know, maybe that was honestly with Odd Eyes in mind as well. But yeah, that's pretty nice. I mean, they don't need Babel, so I do wonder if there's going to be some other card that they touch. But Babel is really nice, and it's already at 1. So this could really be them trying to really touch that pure Orcust, as well as the people trying to play Orcust in their builds, hybrid decks. What do we have next? Limited to 2. We were just talking about Karakuri. Merchant. All right, so the limitation of this card will be easy as its power level is acceptable in the current metagame. We were just talking about Karakuri, and I felt like they probably could come back. Now, I could be tripping saying they could come back like free. Maybe I'm bugging, you know, but just from memory, all Karakuri really did, just from memory, all right, I'm pretty sure they just had a negate, and then they had the ability to move you in defense. And, you know, they had some solid card advantage and whatnot, but I'm pretty sure the boards they're putting up now would be like contemporaries with our boards now. It would not feel as busted as it did back then. Back then, they felt a little OP. Now, they're probably just going to feel like one of the dogs, just one of the dogs around here trying to find their spot in the yard. I think this is nice. Hopefully, I think there's some more. I hope there's some more Karakuri buffs on this ban list, to be honest with you. So that's nice. That's nice. I think that's dope. Moray agreed. Okay. Put this to 2. Okay, that's nice. So they're gonna let them get their card back even more. So that's even nice too. I think that's pretty cool. I'm not gonna lie. I wasn't paying too much attention when people were playing Moray agreed. So I really can't speak on this card in too much extreme depth. I do remember when this guy hit. I do remember they actually did really love using this. It was really nice. It just lets you, you know, shuffle 2 water monsters from your hand to the deck, draw 3 cards. So it is pretty nice. But yeah, so it's at 2 now. That's pretty cool. Gave them a little buff. I think that's nice. I'm really excited about the Curry stuff. I hope there's some more Curry stuff. Double Yo-Yo to 2. Okay. I mean, I understand them giving Speedroids like a little a love tap. This is essentially their love tap. You know, I hope there's nothing else for Speedroids on this ban list. I hope this is all they did was just put Yo-Yo to 2. I mean, because it shouldn't hurt them very badly. Just a little love tap to say, hey, you know, don't get too out of control. Pretty much we're watching you. Pretty much. I hope that's all this is just a we're watching you ban list for Speedroids. But I mean, I understand it. They did very well in the KC Cup. It's a very good deck. I mean, if you're a synchro deck that doesn't care about Roach, you know what I mean? You're definitely a really good deck. So, but with that being said, you know, like I said, I hope that there's not much more they did to Speedroids. I don't think they're really deserving of a big nerf right now. I think that they are pretty fine. They are good. I think they're a really good deck, a really great deck, but I don't think they deserve anything too harsh. I think Yo-Yo should probably be it. Yo-Yo to 2 is, I'd hope that that's all that's on the ban list for them guys. So let's go limited to 3. Oh! Okay, that is dope. That is good. So Burning Abyss, this is a buff for Burning Abyss again alongside the Farfa, being able to play alongside their other guy. That is really, really nice. For those of you that don't know Tour Guide of the Underworld, Tour Guide from the Underworld says when this card is normal summon, you can special summon a level 3 Fiend monster from your hand or deck, but its effects are negated. Also, you can't use it as synchro material. They're just gonna go, you know, overlay, go into an Xyz or something. This is really nice, honestly. That's really cool. I was not expecting Burning Abyss to be getting this type of love on the ban list. That is really cool. That's really dope. That's really cool. So my Burning Abyss players, bro, we're here. I say we as if I'm one of you, but I feel like one of you because I'm happy that they're really easing up on stuff. I felt like this ban list should have been more easing up on decks than I thought it should have been actually hitting decks to make them less playable. I feel like there's a lot more decks that should be buffed instead of nerfed right now. But let's see what's next. Hopefully this isn't the only card on the 3. Silver Rocket Dragon to 3. Okay, this card would be limited as the effect to banish a card from the extra deck has been deemed too effective against a certain card, which players can only add 1 copy of it to the extra deck. I honestly do not care. I don't think it was that deep. Limit to 3 unless there's something else in Rockets that is limited to 3. To my knowledge, I don't think they play any limited to 3 cards. Maybe like traps, so maybe they can't play like compulsory or crackdown or something like that anymore, but nothing that really affects the consistency of the deck. So I really don't even think this really did anything. To my knowledge, this seems like another love tap to a deck. So I don't think this is really going to be doing much to them. You know, like I said, just not playing certain traps. This is cool. I think it's okay. I think this is just a we're watching you Rockets type of nerf, as well as their skill just got buffed on the last ban list. So I don't think this really affects them too much, to be honest. I think that they're still playing the same exact game that they've been playing. So that's nice. What else is there? What else is there? Beatrice. Okay. Do they have another limited to 3 card? Because don't they have another limited to 3 Burning Abyss? I know Farfa was at 3, and he just got moved to 1 on this ban list, right? He's got 1 that moved to 1 on this ban list. I mean, honestly, that's pretty solid. I'm pretty sure Tour Guide was at 1. So pretty nice, pretty nice. I'm not sure if this is actually really nerfing them, to be honest. Because it says it's given a harder limitation, so it can't be played alongside limited 3s. But what limit 3 do they play beside Tour Guide, I guess? So that's cool. That's great. Scrap Recycler. I knew Scrap Recycler was getting put to 3. I knew Scrap Recycler was getting put to 3. Honestly, actually, no. I'm wrong. I thought Scrap Recycler was going to 2. I thought Scrap Recycler was going to 2, and the only way I thought Scrap Recycler would have been going to 3 is, and who knows, because I'm not done with the ban list. The only way I saw Scrap Recycler going to 3 is if they put some other Orcust to 3, which maybe they will. We'll have to see. But Scrap Recycler here is a 1-card starter for Orcust. You can normal summon this bad boy and send a machine to the deck. to the graveyard. So they can pretty much send the Orcust of their choice to the graveyard, be able to get their link 2s, be able to do full combo and whatnot by having nothing but Scrap Recycler. So I do understand why they would touch Scrap Recycler. He definitely is one of the cards that would be touched. So they've got Scrap Recycler to 3. They've got the Orchestrated Release to 1. So once we get rid of that bad boy, it's pretty much gone somewhat. Pretty nice, pretty nice. I'm wondering if they're going to touch anything else, though. Huh. This was on the ban list? This limitation to this card would be eased to allow for greater flexibility when building a synchro summoning deck. What was this at? Was this at 1 or something? I feel like I remember it at 1, but like, honestly, why? Why is it at 1? Why was it at 1 at least? I mean, I'm not sure what deck is going to be playing this, you know, forgive my ignorance. I'm not 100% who's playing this. But, I mean, I guess that's cool. I think this guy just lets you synchro from the hand. Hey, I guess that's pretty nice. You go into your synchro 3 and then maybe go into some other stuff. I'm not really sure who's playing this card, to be honest with you, but I'm not sure what deck. But, hey, you know, and I did actually see a little bit of Pendulum Call. Pendulum Call. Put to 3. Is there anything else in Odd Eyes at 3, though? I think this will be the only card. This card would be given a harder limitation, so it can't be played alongside other multiple copies of limited 3 cards. Yeah, I don't. At the moment, this doesn't affect us in the slightest. We don't play any other limited to 3 cards unless they plan on putting something else in Odd Eyes to 3. This does absolutely nothing. Doesn't affect my build, at least. If you're playing our build at Team 6K, doesn't affect us at all. We're not playing any limited 3 cards, any compulse, any crackdowns, or anything. We're just playing Cosmic and then Pendulum Call and the Odd Eyes and Performer Piles and stuff. So we're pretty much good here. Let's see what's no longer on the list. Goki rematch. All right. Target 2 Goki monsters in the grave with different levels and special summon them. That is cool. That is cool. So now Gokis can do a bit more. The cards being freed up. I think that's nice. They're probably going to do something to the skill, I would think, right? Maybe. Yeah, this is cool. This is a nice buff to Gokis. And I was just talking about Gokis the other day. I think they should still be played. They just, you know, just not the meta. Need a little bit more support. Maybe even just something like this. A couple more things like this. So this is nice. This is nice. Let's see what else is there. Crystron Impact. All right. Yo, this is so crazy. Me and Undead were literally about to do a ban list prediction video. These are the cards we were speaking on, bro. These were literally the cards we were talking about. That's insane. So yeah, that's nice. Crystron Impact is free. That is gas. This is dope. What this does is during either player's turn, except the turn it was sent there, when a card or effect is activated that targets a Crystron monster, you can banish this card from the graveyard. That's the grave effect. As well as on the field, you can target a banished Crystron monster, special summon it, and if you do, your opponent if your opponent controls any face-up monsters, change their defense to 0. So this will pretty much put your opponent's monsters to 0. Right, as well as the fact that you can protect your Crystrons from targeting. So this was really cool. The fact that this is free is really nice for Crystrons. I know they are very happy about this, and I know they're just going to be happy looking forward to the next, you know, ban list coming from here. I'm glad to know that they've got Crystron in mind. I wonder if there's anything else free. Anything else? Goki finishing move. So this is really Goki. They're really giving us some Goki stuff. Target a Goki Link monster you control. It gains attack equal to its Link rating until the end of this turn. Also, if it attacks a defense position monster, inflict piercing damage to your opponent. And for the rest of this turn, after this card resolves, you cannot declare attacks except for with Goki monsters. So, finishing move is pretty cool here. Lets you gain attack, also lets you pierce. Pretty simple card. So they are definitely buffing Gokis. I'm not gonna lie. I would love it if they buffed some other decks, but you know, I'm glad that Goki is getting buffed. They definitely deserved it. Crystron deserved a little more. Let's see if there's anything else. Sided cross wipe is free. No way. Okay. So now I need to go look at Cyberse again. Because I don't remember what they did to stop Salads from playing it. I think they put it to 1 so we couldn't play it with, like, Gazelle. But, like, if this is free, I'm going to have to go check. If this is free, Salads might be really interesting again. I mean, they're still good. They're still a really good deck. But if this is free, this might be really interesting again. We could actually play the Cyberse, the Code Talkers with them again, potentially. I'm not sure. We'll have to go check after this. That's nice. That's nice. Crosswipe just lets you essentially target a card on the field and destroy it by tributing its Cyberse type. And it's just something that we can do very easily, and the deck can search for this card. So pretty cool. Swallow's Nest. Bro, I'm telling you guys, if you were in the conversation with me and Undead, bro, This is just repeats of everything we were saying. This is just straight repeats. We should have uploaded the ban list prediction anyway. So, Swallow's Nexus card will be unlimited to allow for greater flexibility when building a winged beast deck. This is going to be cool for raid raptors. This is going to be nice for harpies, even though harpies are pretty much a lost cause right now. I mean, they're not even summoning their boss monster anymore. They're summoning rank 4s. This also could technically be a buff for Dragoonity, but I doubt Dragoonity is going to play it. Pretty much just Harpies and Raid Raptors. So it's pretty cool. This is going to be a nice little buff for Raid Raptors. This is pretty much a starter now for them, as well as an extender and stuff for Harpies. So this is cool. This is cool. Oh! Yeah, Burning Abyss is getting love. Burning Abyss is getting love, bro. That is nice, bro. That is nice. So this is really cool. This is really cool. I am loving this. I am loving this. Raid Raptor, Strangulanius. This is cool. If you control a dark monster, you can special this. You can special summon this from your hand. Also, you cannot special summon monsters for the rest of this turn except dark monsters. If you control a Xyz monster with a dark Xyz monster as material, you can target a level 4 lower Raid Raptor in the graveyard, special summon it. This is nice. This is nice. I'm loving that they are releasing so many things on this ban list. I honestly feel like the no longer on the list portion of this should be like 3 pages long. But I'm glad that we're making steps in the right direction, because there are a lot of decks that need to be unnerfed. A lot more decks need to be buffed than those that need to be nerfed. So I think this is really good. Really good. Misjudge. This card to be unlimited as its power level is acceptable. That's true, because it's trash. I don't care about it. If an opponent activates the card effect, you have to flip 2 coins, and then the result has to be double heads. If it's not double heads, then they can't negate it. If it is double heads, then they will negate it. So it's a nice card, but it's a gamble. I mean, you can play it with the skill. I cannot remember what it's called, that guarantees you the, I think it guarantees like 3 heads. You get 3 head coin flips. So, I mean, as long as it still works in that deck, I mean, you know, I guess that's a nice buff for them. Personally, I would have touched other things aside from Misjudge. I just don't think this was important enough to even go touch, regardless of where this is. I don't think the deck is doing anything else. So I do think they should have touched something more important. But, you know, like I said, I'm glad to see things get buffed. That's how I'm feeling. That's how I'm feeling. Alrighty, so we've rebalanced Red Eyes Roulette, Zexal Ultimate Unite, Holy Angel Trick. They're strengthening those. Okay. And then due to the increase in ritual monsters, this skill has become too effective and will be weakened. If you say so. Master of Rites 2 is getting nerfed. Okay. I mean, yeah, sure. I mean, if you, whatever. Okay. So select 1 monster from the list below and add it to your deck from outside of your deck. Then add 1 random Red Eyes spell trap from your deck to your hand and return 1 Red Eyes card from your hand to the deck. Red Eyes Archfiend of Lightning, Summon Skull, Meteor Dragon, Red Eyes Impact, Meteor Dragon, Gear Freed the Red Eyes Iron Knight, and Gear Freed the Iron Knight. This skill can be used if you begin the duel with a deck excluding an extra deck that has 10 or more Red Eyes cards, including at least 5 Red Eyes monsters, and this skill can only be used once per duel. So now, instead of being able, I think I see what the main difference is. In the past, you would have added a random Red Eyes card to your hand from the deck and then returned a Red Eyes card. But now, it's going to add a random Red Eyes spell trap from your deck to your hand, which is a lot more relevant, because I'd much rather be adding a random Insight or Red Eyes Fusion or Fang with Chain than I would just randomly get a Red Eyes card. So that is definitely a buff. We are going to be guaranteed to get a Red Eyes spell trap, which is what we want, instead of potentially getting a Red Eyes monster in our hand randomly. So that is a nice buff. Nice buff. So now we've got Ultimate Unite. Add 1 number 39 Utopia, 1 number C39 Utopia Ray, 1 ZW Leo Arms to your extra deck at the beginning of the duel. Once per turn and twice per duel, you can activate the following effects by paying half your life points, send 1 Gaga monster you control to the graveyard, and play 1 of 3 different Gaga monsters from outside of your deck. You can then change its level to 4. You can only special summon number and ZW monsters from your extra deck this duel. Also, if your life points are 2,000 below, the effect activates at the beginning of your turn. Human Astral build the overlay network. They go Zexal, Morph, turn Super Saiyan. You can use this effect once after transforming. Ultimate Leo Duran. Hold on now. Hold on now. 39 Utopia is material. Yeah, I'm not really understanding the big difference here. I'm not gonna lie. Kind of seems like the same skill. I'm not sure what it is that I'm missing. It just looks like some word difference. Like, you know, it's saying 1 of 3 Gagas versus like 3 possibilities. You know what I mean? Like, it just seems like slightly different wording, but I I'm assuming there is a buff. I'm just not really understanding it. So next we've got Holy Angel Trick, or Holly Angel Trick. In the past, it said the effect damage of your monsters whose original name is Trickstar Holly Angel will be doubled. Now it says the effect damage of your monsters whose original name is Trickstar Holly Angel will be doubled. And the following effect can be used once per duel. Select one Trickstar Link monster on your field and gain life points equal to its attack. So they pretty much gave a little extra effect to the skill. That's pretty nice. Just a nice little buff to it. Now with Master of Rights 2, they have done what they do with every skill when they want to nerf it. They have added a life point condition. Wow, how creative. 1500, huh? So it can be used when your life point decreases by 1500. Return one card from your hand to the deck. Set one ritual cage from outside of your deck to the field. Honestly, I'm not sure what ritual deck is out right now that they feel like this is really a problem they need to do this for. Or maybe it's just preemptive. Maybe there's some really nice ritual stuff about to come. I'm not sure. But, I mean, hey, they added a life point cost to it. So, I mean, they might be changing what they're playing. I know a lot of them don't even play Cosmic. So we'll just have to see. Man, okay. Well, anyway, it's been your boy Weatherman, and I've pretty much said all I've got to say for my half of the video. So I hope you guys appreciate talking to Undead for the rest of this video. This is Weatherman signing out.
And now for something completely different.
Alright guys, so the first thing we do after a ban list is we take every deck that has been somewhat impacted and we find the way that it's going to be played from now on. Orcust, for example, pretty much every hit that Orcust suffered is just to prevent it from being splashable. Like the Mermaid got banned, so any deck can't just put two monsters on the field, discard a card and play Orcust. The Burning Abyss was shifted around a little bit so that you couldn't go into Beatrice and do Orcust combo that way. And you can't even Scrap Recycler your way into things because that's also been limited to 3 alongside other things. So really the only valid way to play Orcust now is pure Babel Orcust, which is, funnily enough, I feel like the best version of pure Orcust, which I feel like is completely unhit. As you can see, my deck list remains unchanged pretty much from when I did a guide about it, apart from the fact that I put a Borrowload Dragon in there. I was just never summoning Linkaribo, so I'd put the Borrowload in there. I quite like it. We know Konami doesn't like when an archetype is splashable, so I'll often do hits to make it pure again. But to be real with you, while playing pure Orcust, I've never lost to an Orcust variant. It's just pure, I feel like pure Orcust has always been the way to go, but that's just a matter of personal opinion. It just so happens that now it's a fact of life. It's the only way to go. Next deck to look at is Odd Eyes Pendulum Magician. As you can see, our deck list here hasn't changed from when Weatherman did an update on it. The hits were really only to prevent it from being played alongside Orcust. So Pendulum Core was put to 3 to make it so that they couldn't play it with Scrap Recycler, and Odd Eyes Raging Dragon was put to 1 so that they couldn't use it with Release or with Babel. But the deck is still very powerful, but it's pretty much just as powerful as it was before. The pure version has always been able to put up better boards than Orcust Odd Eyes. It's just that Odd Eyes was a lot better at playing through interruptions. But to be real with you, Odd Eyes doesn't really need that much help playing through interruptions in the first place. This is a very powerful deck. So the deck is probably going to be just exactly where it is on the tier list. It's just that you can't play Orcust with it anymore. That's pretty much the only difference. Onomats is, you know, it's the deck that abuses Beatrice the most. And, you know, after the Mermaid ban, Beatrice was kind of like the next thing to go. So not any deck can play Beatrice now. You gotta sacrifice your limited 3 slot for 1 copy of it. And then you also have to sacrifice a limited 1 slot for the Farfa. So we can't play Farfa in here anymore. And we also can't really play the Phantom Knight package that allows us to go into Requiem, because of course the rank up spell is limited to 1, and so is Farfa. And so is Gaga Revenge, which is kind of important for the ability to play through interruptions. But in order to play through more interruptions, we can put another searchable card in the form of Gaga Bolt in there for the sister to go for, in case we already have the Revenge. And instead of Farfa, we can play the 1 copy of Tackled Crusader. We're not temporarily banishing something, but we are flipping something down. That's a pretty good interruption as well. Pretty much, the interruptions we go into are going to be different. The Beatrice is going to be more opened up to sending a Gaga to grave to extend our combos, rather than sending the Phantom Knight in order to get our Requiem off, which is completely fine. Of course, we're not going to be able to put up the most busted fields, but we're definitely going to be able to put up a busted fields, because this deck's combo potential is still absolutely insane, and Beatrice is still a very well abused card. But we got more room for rank 4s in here, so we got the full rank 4 package in here, and we also got the Utopia the Lightning here, as well as we're using the skill Warrior of Hope number 39. We were previously playing a skill that detached all of our materials so that we could use the rank up spell, but we don't need to do that anymore, so we can just get a 9th extra deck slot using the Warrior of Hope number 39 skill, just put a Utopia in there so we can easily go into Utopia the Lightning, make it a lot easier to get over things and also make it easier to go for game that way. I saw a lot of Burning Abyss players were pretty upset when they saw how many cards were shown on this ban list. Funnily enough though, if you actually look at what those hits do, the deck is not nerfed because Beatrice being limited to 3 alongside Tour Guide being limited to 3 and Seer being taken off means we can play all the Seer, we can play 1 Tour Guide, 2 Beatrice, the exact amount that we were playing before, except we get a bonus Seer. And if you wanted to play 2 Farfa, 1 Seer, that is a bit unfortunate, so we're only allowed to play 1 Farfa now. But that's okay, because we can get it back with the Seer anyway. The deck is really unchanged. The only reason that they have so many Burning Abyss cards on the ban list is so that they can kind of shift them around a bit, so that Burning Abyss can still play exactly as is, but Beatrice can't really be abused with Orcust. That's the only thing. Realistically, Speedroids didn't even really get hit. Double Yo-Yo has been put to 2, but this is really a love tap. I mean, Yo-Yo is searchable, of course, with the Terratop. And of course it is nice to open it if you also have a Takatomborg or a Car Turbo, so that's kind of cool. Because probably to prevent us from using limited to 2 cards, it's not that big of a deal. The deck remains pretty much unchanged. It's just I decided to put in a copy of Horse Stilts to kind of replace the Double Yo-Yo, because the Horse Stilts as a starter is kind of almost as good as Double Yo-Yo, because, you know, of course you could normal summon the Double Yo-Yo then special summon from hand, but also Horse Stilts could just normal summon and then use its effect to special summon from the hand, so it's kind of the same thing, you know what I mean? So yeah man, Speedroids is equally as good as it was before. It's like it's as if it wasn't even hit in the first place. Alright, let's have a look at what Rokkets are doing differently after the ban list. Oh damn, it looks like they're doing nothing differently at all, because they put Silver Rocket to 3 and nothing else. That's crazy how the deck is completely unchanged. Now, I'm mostly joking here. I know people were playing limited to 3 traps with this deck, but that version of the deck was pretty bricky, to be honest. The deck doesn't really need to fill itself with traps. The game plan is really solid on its own. And the more traps you put in your deck, the less likely you are to actually have your plays. So it's kind of like Konami is forcing players to play the deck optimally. They do this in the TCG2, where sometimes they'll put a card to 2 that people are already playing at 2 to kind of incentivize people to stop playing 3 copies of it. You know what I mean? And it kind of feels like that kind of doing that here. They're disincentivizing you from playing the limited 3 traps. They're really not that deep, but the deck is just as good as it was before. It's probably even better because it doesn't have to worry so much about Orcust variants. Pure Orcust is still great, but you know, you can win against it, you know what I mean? As opposed to Orcust Odd Eyes, which could just play through everything. Alright, Salamangreat Code Talker fans, we are back. Our deck is back. Signet Cross Swipe has been unlimited, which means we can play it alongside Salamangreat Gazelle again, which completely means we can play the whole Salamangreat Code Talker strategy again. Pretty much equally as consistently as before, because we can't play 3 Circle because we do need to get the 1 Lady debug, but we were playing 2 Signet Mining, just play a 3rd one, and we're equally as consistent. We got just as much Searchers, the deck is exactly the same, just as good at playing through interruptions because of the Signet backdoor and because of all the extenders we have in here. I feel like they allowed this deck to be playable again because funnily enough, right after they nerfed this deck, they kept releasing decks that would absolutely just destroy this deck, right? So I'm not going to say that this deck won't hit the meta again, but it's not going to be the best deck in the game because the decks that are currently in the meta are definitely better than this deck, unquestionably. But it is still a very good, very intelligent deck, and you are much more likely to be successful with it now that it's unlimited. So Raid Raptors and Gokis did actually get buffed by this ban list as well. Gokis got pretty much completely unhit, and Raid Raptors got some buffs as well. Strangulanius is now free, and Swallow's Nest is now at 3. So they can play 3 of each other without any worries. But I'm not going to show any deck list here because we're actually planning on making some advanced guides on these videos. We might put up a poll to see which one you guys want to see first. So yeah, definitely stay tuned for that. So the skill changes here are kind of bland, you know, they're barely even worth talking about. I feel like they're all like slightly buffed to a point where it's like, oh well, you might as well not have buffed them at all because the buffs are just so redundant, you know what I mean? But the Master of Rites did get nerfed a little bit. I feel like this is a little bit unwarranted. It's not like ritual decks were really doing all that much, but it might mean that they might be about to give some nice ritual support. So that's kind of cool to see. But yeah, apart from that, guys, let us know how you feel about our thoughts on this ban list. If you like this kind of content from us, be sure to let us know. And otherwise, if you like the video, subscribe if you're new around here, hit the bell to get notified every time we make a new video. And I've been Undead, Team 6K, signing out.
Wait, hey,
feel like the greatest. Now I feel like they hate it. Now I feel like the only one and there is no debating. Man, I feel like they leaving. Now I feel like they waited. Now I feel like this is the feeling before I can make it. Before I hit the stage, I just feel like I'm nauseous. Or I feel like I'm popping. Or I feel like a boss is. Maybe I'm feeling off it. Or I feel like I'm toxic. Maybe feeling intoxicated is the reason for all this. I wanna whip it with the top down, dog, like I'm Earth Gang. Told him, listen, wild day shine like my first name. Told me go and grab a titty, boy, it's my first chain. I ain't even switch gears yet, it's the first lane. The first pain I ever felt was the worst pain. Then church came, and that feeling of hurt came. Then her name made this feeling all worth pain. She made me realize what I had felt in the first place.